we know that the depth chart isn't Bible or like concrete, but how did it feel knowing that you were slotted into that third starting role once Ray was released?
I mean, my job every week is kind of just to stay ready whenever my time is called. I feel like, you got to find your role and figure out what that is week to week. But I try to be ready for all the positions. It's not one thing that you can never really tell how a game's going to go week in and week out. You never really know when you're going to get thrown in there. You just have to be ready for it. So I kind of I've treated every week the same. I'm not treating anything differently based on, what's happening or anything like that. But, like I said, I try to treat, every position like I could go in and play, no matter what's going on. So that's how I've been attacking, the last couple weeks anyway.
How do you think you can, help an offense that, has moved the ball real well this year, but hasn't been able to get into the end zone as much as you all would like?
Like I said, I think the mindset is to do your job individually, and I think that'll help the team, all 11 of us be successful as an offense. So, I think my job just focusing on what I need to do and the details of it, and, I think that'll help us all collectively, and help us get into the end zone.
David, I saw you talking to Drake a lot out there. Is there just a lot of communication, just kind of catching up, or just kind of learning where to be, or what good routes are? I mean, I know you're on the team, but how much is he sponging off of him?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been doing that since I got here. All the guys. I mean, there's abilities that these guys have that I try to take whatever I can. I try to be a sponge, and whether it's a route that he's running, what he's thinking about on a route, just the details of what you thinking on steps or on how you're coming out of a break. So it's really like little stuff like that. I feel like I try to be a student of the game in that aspect because, these guys are so talented. I get to watch them every day. So why would I not try to pick their brain on what they're thinking or what they have going on, or when they're running, it's like, okay, how are you thinking about beating this DB or something like that? So, really it's kind of one of those things, or if we're, working together on a route, what we're doing, what he's thinking, what I'm thinking, so that we can be on the same page.
What strengths do you add to this offense's game? Like, what makes you different when you're put on the field?
I feel like I'm a bigger body for one. I feel like that's always friendly for a quarterback, just having the length in zones and being able in tight windows to be able to make plays on the football. But like I said, I'm trying to be the best version of myself out there, and I think through consistency of like I said, in OTAs to training camp to now, just being the same guy and putting my best foot forward every day is what I think will help the team the most.
How do you think you do in blocking?
I think that's one thing that we all take pride in. I think we see a lot of what Drake does in setting the tone in the blocking, and I think that mindset kind of carries through the whole room. So it's something that we really want to put a lot of effort in, and we know that we've got some good backs back there running the football. So it's our job to be able to get them to the next level, and then to the next level after that.
On the Wednesday after Ray's release, because he was such a big part of the team, what was the room like, the wide receiver room specifically, when that news came out?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucked. I think we all love Ray as a person and a player, and it's one of those things that's out of our hands. Like I said, what we can do is come to work every day and put our best foot forward to be the best offense that we can be. But you never want to see a guy go from within the room. It's like each room is kind of like a fraternity. You're with these guys all day, all the time. So, you build relationships with these guys. So it always sucks. I mean, after training camp sucks. After when roster moves have to be made like that, it sucks. It's something that's out of our control, but it is the nature of the game. So like I said, we just got to put our best foot forward and try to be the best offense we can be.
Mike is a little banged up right now, and it seems like he is going to play on Sunday, but whatever might happen, you all still have someone like Kirk Cousins behind them. How nice is that to have that kind of insurance policy?
Yeah, I mean, Mike's obviously a competitor, and doing everything he can to be out there. So, we'll be ready for him And I think that's one of those things that when we can do more as a receiver group to give him the confidence out there and everything. But it's obviously nice to have a guy like Kirk that can step in and has played a lot of football in his career, and it's not as much other things that he hasn't seen out there. So obviously we just got to be ready as a receiver group regardless, and play our game that we've been playing all year.
He's obviously more behind the scenes now than he was compared to last year. Talking about Kirk, but what has he done so far this season for y'all to help this team be the team it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think his presence alone is awesome. His knowledge of the game. You have somebody that's been around the league as long as he has been. Just picking his brain about route detail and what he sees in receivers or wants in receivers. Sometimes I think that's an element that you don't get in most teams because you don't have a guy that's played that long or been around that long. So that's definitely something that's been helpful to me, and the receiver room, being able to kind of bank on that, on how he sees stuff, and kind of collaborating with Mike, on how they both kind of see the route going together.
Plus a lot of dad jokes.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He's got those for days.
Do you like them?
I love him. I'm a huge fan of him.
You mentioned kind of Drake and the tenacity that he has when he plays the game.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the blocking context, but can you describe what he's like on a game day and just kind of the way that he changes into the? It's almost like he's like a fighter, like when he's on the field. That's like kind of how I see him.
Yeah, I definitely got introduced to that the first game of the season, because obviously he wasn't out there in the preseason. And it's a little bit different of a vibe. You can kind of see it in training camp, but you don't get the full, but he's just he's a competitor, and he wants to be the best in running routes, catching the football, making plays, but also in the run game, and, helping B be the best player he can be, helping TA be the best player he can be. So that's something that's really awesome to see, because you don't always see that in big time receivers like him, and like I said earlier, it's something that I think the rest of the room kind of adapts to that and wants to kind of play with that same edge and level. So it's something that definitely brings the whole room up in that regard. So.
I feel like our special teams unit all game was playing really well. We were down in punts inside the 5. Making our kicks and everything. So just had that one miscue when I put the ball on the ground, and I know that can't happen. I've been playing this game too long to do something like that, but it was good. It was a pretty clean game from special teams. Other than that,
how did it feel personally, given the injuries and fighting back to get in the league and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good personally just because finally being able to break one a little bit, and obviously I'm looking to score. The break of 45 yards feels pretty good, but ultimately I'm trying to score. But this is also my first year with a new kick, so still just trying to get a feel for it. And then I missed a couple games this year, so it kind of set me back with like the game reps, kind of getting a feel for this new kick. But I mean, I honestly like it. I just gotta continue to get more reps at it.
And Zach mentioned yesterday, I know you was a D-back in the old days.
Yeah, I can.
But he brought it up that, they're down a receiver,
Yeah.
and they might, have to, move you, and give you some more receiver stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always next man up mentality. I feel like that's how it is everywhere. Injuries can happen on any play. Situations can happen, any week. So it's just always being ready whenever your number's called, and there's a lot of guys that's ready to step up too.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jamal. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, JD, how's the week of practice been going for you so far?
It's been going well. Feel good about the preparation and the position I'm playing, so feel good about all that.
Jesse Bates said, hey, he did a great job. He didn't flinch out there. You had time to look at it on film. I think he referenced that after the game. How do you think you did? How do you think you want to do moving forward?
I think I did well overall. Felt like I was assignment sound and played well, played aggressive, knew what I was doing out there. And I think going forward, the nice thing is last week I was backing up a lot of positions, just next man in a lot of positions. So now it'll be nice to be able to focus a little bit more on a singular position and be able to really kind of get into those details of just that position and know the others, but not as much, because last week didn't know where he was going to go if someone went down, so kind of plug and play a lot of positions. So this week it'll be nice to narrow down.
Okay, good deal. What do you see in the Dolphins as they come in here with, Tua and running back and some receivers there?
Yeah, man, I think it's funny going from college to NFL. Like, the NFL is a good team every year, every week, no matter who they are or what they do. So, I mean, they got a lot of speed and they got a lot of kind of window dressing, I guess you could say, on how they present different looks. And so, knowing that, and then just kind of getting to the basics of who they are and kind of get to who they are and I guess who they want to be in film, and making sure that we kind of nail down on those and kind of ignore some of that window dressing to distract your eyes.
How much did y'all focus on that concept of mush yards you were telling us in the locker room about this week already?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big focus last week and correcting the game from last week. I think going forward, it'll always be a big focus. I mean, I think when you lose a game, and you can always be critical of those kind of things, and that's something that was pertinent, I guess you'd say. And I mean, the 49ers, like, they run 21-22P, and so you see that. And the Dolphins as well, they have a fullback, they run 21P, so like that's going to be obviously a big emphasis, as you kind of hinted to.
What's the key to stopping those from happening?
Yeah, it's just people to the ball. You can't have one person to the ball. It's as many hats as you can to the ball, and we say 11 in the frame at the end of every snap. So when you get done at film, you should be able to stop the ball, and 11 people are on the frame, and kind of be able to get hits and keep that ball going backwards.
And just to confirm, did you take first team reps in practice today?
Yes.
What was that like, working alongside Cade and just kind of learning the install for this week?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I have a good relationship with Caden off the field and on the field, and so I think we gel together well, and so I think that's always just fun. I mean, I call him an old man. He's hit 30 now, so that's old in the NFL, so I mess with him a good amount.
And I'm assuming you prep like a starter every week, so how easy is this transition into this role?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I think just kind of what I alluded to earlier, just last week I was backing up 5 different spots, and just with Jay walk down and a couple other things, and so now I'll be able to really kind of nail down in those details of where I'll know where my feet will be, versus last week I was watching film and it was like, okay, let me make sure I'm good here, 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 here. Now I know this exact spot. This is what I'm going to be. This is going to be my role.
Is that spot you're in when you feel the most comfortable, or is it kind of the same in every position back there?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable there, and I mean, most spots. I think in practice, like, I've been that next man up, and so I've kind of plugged and played in practice and every rotation, and so it gets you definitely more comfortable with reps.
Is it a different mindset going in knowing you're going to be out there, a lot of the reps?
That's a good question. I think not from a preparation standpoint.
Right.
I think, like, I still feel like I kind of have I'm pretty routine person. I don't know if you guys probably picked up on that by now, and so I'm a pretty routine person. So, like, from that side, but I think just knowing that you're going to get those reps, like, there's a mindset just being able to know, hey, you're going to play that 50, 60, maybe even 70 snaps, and so mentally kind of prepping yourself for that.
How do you think physically that's going to feel, along with your special teams responsibilities at the end of the day?
I mean, I think adrenaline's going and those kind of things. And, like, last game I felt really good all the way through. And so, I mean, I think I've done that before in college. And I think I also trained myself pretty hard continually through the season. So I feel pretty comfortable with that.
Was the soreness the same early in this week? Or?
Well, I was definitely a little more sore.
little more.
It's funny. I was walking out of the locker room and Kirk was talking to Jesse, and I was right in front of him. And Kirk was like, yo, like, do you guys think that week 1 soreness, like, you're super sore, do you think, like, that's just you stop getting that soreness because it's not week 1 anymore, your body just, like, adapts to it? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I definitely have that week 1 soreness.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
But yeah, I was sore.